Just as the first hint of morning brushed the sky, the United Kingdom jolted awake to a revelation that seemed to stop the air itself. At precisely 6:47 a.m., a single, icy line emerged from Kensington Palace, a message so stark it cracked through the dawn like a lightning strike. Prince William has reached his final stance concerning the Duchess of Sussex. Nothing more. No comfort. No context. Just a blade-sharp declaration that carved straight through the fragile stillness of early winter. Within moments, screens lit up, radios crackled, newsrooms erupted into chaos. Veteran journalists froze mid-sentence. One stunned BBC presenter breathed, "This changes the entire game." The words sounded tidy, almost clinical, but the weight beneath them was devastating. For decades, palace statements had been wrapped in velvet, careful phrasing, measured diplomacy, polite distance. Not today. This time the tone slammed shut like a steel door. It felt as if the monarchy itself had etched an unbreakable line into the ground. Across the country, commuters halted as if struck by an invisible force. Even people who barely cared about royal drama felt the tension coil around them. "This is big," a delivery driver muttered in Birmingham. At a frosty bus stop in Glasgow, a woman whispered, "Something's horribly off." And she wasn't wrong, because whatever unfolded inside those palace rooms in November was unlike anything whispered since the era of Diana. Across the ocean, just past midnight, American broadcasters on CNN and CBS stared straight into the lens, repeating the line with eyes widened in disbelief. Prince William delivered a devastating proclamation about Meghan, one far more shocking than anyone had braced for. His words didn't just travel, they rippled across continents. This wasn't tabloid noise anymore. It felt like witnessing history detonate in real time. But how did everything unravel so violently? How did months of eerie quiet collapse into a statement that felt carved in ice? To understand, we have to return to early November, the deceptive calm before the royal storm. King Charles had been visibly worn down, his agenda subtly rearranged under the guise of health pacing, leaving William balancing his own duties, his father's fragile steadiness, and a rising tide of tension tied to Meghan and Harry. He assumed, like always, that the chaos would eventually fade. It never stayed loud for long, but this time, the atmosphere inside those palace corridors felt charged, like something unseen was gathering force. Early whispers surfaced in US media, harmless at first, murmurs about Meghan crafting a bold rebirth, words like comeback, reinvention, claiming her power. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, British coverage grew sharper, irritated that the Sussex narrative kept eclipsing traditional royal responsibilities. Two separate worlds formed, one celebrating Meghan's resurgence, the other tired of the constant noise. Slowly the gap stretched, widened, then snapped open into a cavern. And in that widening silence, a new current began, stories appearing from nowhere. Kensington staff started spotting strange rhythms. Anonymous sources feeding American talk shows uncanny, hyper-specific claims about Catherine, her bond with William, her projects, even her private emotions. Most of it fantasy, but dropped with deliberate precision, always timed to clash with major royal moments. This wasn't chaos. It was choreography. Then came the quiet squeeze from the British government. The Foreign Office privately cautioned that the revived Sussex media storm was unsettling diplomatic partner. They didn't spell it out, but the meaning was unmistakable. The palace had to regain control before the uproar spilled into international affairs. For William, that warning was the siren he could no longer overlook. Princess and the family's unbreakable backbone moved first. In mid-November, she sat alone in the icy stillness of the Frogmore Library, studying a report from the Royal Communications Intelligence Unit. It mapped out the digital fingerprints of a deliberate operation, synchronized talking points, matching language, recycled narratives about Meghan's muted voice, and didn't jump to accusations, but her instincts, sharpened by decades of duty, told her that something was being orchestrated. The next morning confirmed it. A confidential data packet appeared on William's desk through the palace's encrypted channel. Inside were screenshots, timelines, and analysis. Late-night American shows had begun quoting Buckingham Palace insiders, who didn't exist, floating claims that Catherine was creating tension, that William was secretly furious with his own staff. He read every line without a flinch, but the air around him thickened. "I've never seen him look so drained," one aide murmured. But what arrived next broke whatever calm remained, a file labeled Winter Briefing, Year-End Media Strategy. It was a polished PR blueprint outlining a sweeping Christmas week relaunch designed to rewrite Meghan's royal legacy. It detailed interviews, essays, and a documentary pitch crafted to present her as a visionary reformer crushed by royal inflexibility. And buried deep inside was one chilling paragraph proposing openings to discuss royal missteps and shortcomings in charitable oversight. It was a cold, razor-thin piece of criticism aimed directly at Catherine. When Princess Anne reached that paragraph, she went utterly still. Then her face hardened, sharp and unmovable. That evening, she found William in a dim Windsor hallway, the air so frigid their breath drifted like smoke. She delivered everything: the pattern, the danger, the quiet assault on Catherine's name. William listened without a word, his jaw tight, his gaze unfocused. Who else has seen this? By November 29th, the choice was unavoidable. The storm had breached the threshold. Inside the vast 1,844 room at Buckingham Palace, the air felt thick enough to press against the skin. Wind hammered the old windows as William sat at the long table, surrounded by centuries of memory and expectation. Princess Anne at his left, unyielding, sharp, watchful. Camilla on his right, hands clasped, expression impossible to read. The private secretary shut the doors behind them. A heavy stillness settled over the chamber. William spoke softly. "This isn't about emotion. It's about the crown's survival," and slid the annotated winter briefing forward across the polished table. "This," she said with a cutting edge, "is a designed effort to sabotage our work and tarnish Catherine's reputation." Camilla followed, her voice low but unwavering. "Your father cannot weather another media assault. If this explodes over Christmas, Charles will take the first blow." William's fingertips pressed into the table as he released a long, controlled breath. He had sensed for weeks that this moment was coming, but hearing both women aligned so completely made the weight settle on his shoulders like stone. The communications chief began reading from the intelligence notes. 3 major American networks pushing nearly identical storylines, each traced back to a PR firm once associated with Meghan. The room turned to ice. Anne's jaw locked. Camilla murmured, "This isn't just carelessness. It's dangerous for Catherine and for the institution itself." The final sentence of the report ended the debate entirely. If allowed to continue, the operation could shake public trust throughout the holiday season. That phrase, "destabilize public confidence," was the moment William's last trace of doubt evaporated. He lifted his head, gaze firm, and broke the silence. "You know what must happen. Shield your wife. Shield the institution." Camilla's voice followed, quiet but unshakable. "Set the boundary, William, even if the cost is painful." And that night, he did exactly that. By midnight, early drafts of formal statement were already circulating through the palace network. William dismissed anything dramatic. No theatrics, no accusation, just precision, he instructed. At 2 a.m., the final copy sat before him, stark, frost-edged, absolute. After an extensive assessment of recent developments and public narratives, the Prince of Wales has concluded that there will be no future coordination or engagement with the Duchess of Sussex. This decision, though regrettable, is necessary to safeguard the duties and stability of the crown. That was the whole message. No fury, no reassurance, just a definitive endpoint. At dawn, the palace hallways were muted except for the rhythmic echo of approaching steps. And arrived first, her expression carved from stone. She rested her hand briefly on William's arm, a gesture of allegiance, not comfort. Moments later, Camilla entered, wrapped in a charcoal coat, eyes reflecting quiet exhaustion. "It's time," she murmured. At 6:47 a.m., the statement was released to the world. Within seconds, BBC, Sky, and ITV slammed into breaking news mode. Across the Atlantic, CNN and CBS cut their broadcast. Prince William issues devastating final decree concerning Meghan. The world paused. Journalists stumbled through their scripts. Analysts invoked memories of the Diana years, a future monarch forced to choose between blood and throne. Social media erupted in shock, disbelief, and raw speculation. Some labeled it betrayal. Others insisted it was bravery. Inside Clarence House, King Charles read the statement in complete silence. He had expected this moment, yet the finality still cut sharply. The father in him felt the sting. The monarch in him accepted the necessity. Sometimes peace demands a sacrifice that wounds everyone. Meanwhile, in California, insiders say Meghan saw the announcement almost instantly. She stared at the screen without blinking. No crying, no outrage, just a frozen stillness, like a clock halted mid-movement. The world now existed in two halves, before 6:47 a.m. and after it. Within the palace walls, the machinery of order roared into motion. At 8:15 a.m., senior officials gathered to contain the global tremors. Updated talking points, revised procedures, directives to embassies. The matter is concluded. That was the phrase to be used: worldwide, controlled, unwavering, final. Princess Anne returned to her schedule with unmistakable resolve. Those who glimpsed her said she seemed taller, steadier, almost triumphant. She had predicted this reckoning. Camilla, on the other hand, spent the afternoon in solitude, sunlight drifting weakly through her window, a reminder that old scars never quite fade. She had endured her own battles with the public eye, and she recognized the deep fatigue behind William's choice. As for King Charles, he withdrew to his study, pale but composed. He had supported his son's strength over his own feeling. He had trained William to put duty above desire. Watching him live it now stung more deeply than he anticipated. The world, naturally, did not hesitate to take sides. In the UK, especially among older listeners, radio lines lit up with voices declaring, "Finally, this has gone on long enough." Many praised it as overdue, a return to order and discipline. Across the Atlantic, reactions splintered. Some lauded William's decisiveness. Others condemned the monarchy for closing the door on reconciliation forever. By evening, the palace returned to its muted rhythm. London's sky dimmed to slate, lamps flickering across the ground. The monarchy, bruised yet upright, rested in a fragile peace. The damage had been contained, yet the marks remain. And as the world debated right and wrong inside those walls, one certainty lingered like a shadow. This was not triumph. It was survival. At its heart, this story is about more than royalty. It's about families, the fissures between them, the weight of pride, and the desperate search for equilibrium. Sometimes love cannot undo chaos. Silence becomes the final shield. William's choice was not fueled by anger. It came from exhaustion, sleepless nights, mountains of reports, and the dread of history repeating itself. He did not exile Meghan. He ended the cycle. In doing so, he reminded the world that, even in the grandest palaces, heartbreak looks the same: quiet, heavy, unavoidable. As night fell across London, the air around Kensington Palace was still, for the first time in months. Not serene, only still. Like a storm finally passing, leaving both wreckage and clarity in its wake. The crown had drawn its line, and, for once, the world paused long enough to feel its weight.